Hello everyone, in this video I will give you a brief overview of GP Event Dump, GED for short, which is an application that can better assist you with troubleshooting group policy issues. So let's take a look at some of the features. Firstly, the application is 100% free. You can browse to our website and download the executable from there. Secondly, it's portable. You can store it on a USB thumb drive, a network share in the cloud so that you have it anytime you need it. It's lightweight, so when you launch the application, it takes up very little resources. And lastly, it's compatible with all versions of Windows starting with Vista. But before we take a look more at the tool, let's take a look at this concept of triggers to understand what makes this tool so unique. So let's talk about triggers, because this is a very important concept that we need to understand in order to see why GED shines as a tool. Okay, so we have two categories, manual and automatic. Polling and events fall under automatic triggers. But let's talk about each one a little bit. A manual trigger is a trigger that requires human intervention every time it needs to be executed. So if you need to run something 100 times, well, someone has to physically do something, touch a keyboard, right? 100 times to kick that off. So as you can imagine, if you have a mundane task, you probably want to look into automation because that brings efficiencies. That's when we could take a look at either polling or events. Polling, once again, is an automatic trigger. So after an application has been executed or processed, after a certain time period has elapsed, it will execute again. So for instance, if you have something that needs to run every hour, on the hour for 24 hours, one day, right? That's polling. And on the Windows operating system, you can typically set this up in the control panel under scheduled tasks. And lastly, we have events. Events are basically processes that kick off only after something else happens. So if you're into application development, you may have come across events in the past. If you haven't, you can think of, the Windows operating system has many events. So for example, when you log on, that is in fact an event. And when you log on, there are processes that are kicked off in the background to, for instance, create your desktop. So there are many reasons why you would use a manual trigger or an automatic trigger, but in most cases, when you want efficiencies, you want to take a look at automatic triggers, right? Something that doesn't involve you doing anything, okay? Indeed, there are many tools available for group policy troubleshooting today. We have GP Result, which is probably the most common one. We have RSOP.MSC, and we have the Group Policy Results Wizard. So why do we need an extra tool? Because all of the tools available today are all manual triggered based tools. You have to physically do something to kick these things off. So once again, if you want to run it 100 times, then you have to type a command line or go through a wizard 100 times, and that could suck. And this is where GED shines. It is the only automatic group policy tool. And after you launch the application, it basically sits dormant in the background and it listens for when group policy processing has completed, and then immediately after it dumps RSOP data. So it's great for monitoring group policy activity. For example, if you have a system that is experiencing group policy issues, do you want to visit the end user and interrupt them several times a day to run GP results to see what happens? I mean, probably not, right? And even if you have to do it 5-10 times, after a while it can become a little bit annoying. With this tool, you would just launch it, leave it, even for days, and when you come back, you'll have all of the information you need to hopefully find the root cause of what's happening on that box. So once again, this tool is free for download, it's portable, and it can help you with more efficiently troubleshooting group policy issues.